Welcome to the Understanding Your DNA Report webinar. We're going to go over the things today that are a little bit more important for you to take the action steps in order to be healthy. There's some additional information in the packet, so if you read through that and you have any questions about the specific things, feel free to reach out to your health coach to get some more guidance on that. But this will give you a good general overview to understanding the most important things you need to know from your DNA report. Here are our objectives. So you're going to learn what your recommended macronutrient ratios are, so what percentage of those carbs, proteins, and fats works best for you. Nutrition in you, we want to create a positive relationship between you and the nutrition in your diet. You're going to determine your goal, whether you're going to lose some weight or whether you want to maintain some weight. You're going to be able to learn a little bit about your essential nutrients. You're going to learn a little bit about your fitness program recommendations, and then your genetics related to healthy behaviors. So just some tips. You definitely want to make sure that you have an appointment scheduled to individually review your DNA with your health coach. If you haven't done so already, this will give you a general overview of how to read the report, and then your health coach will tell you how that individually relates to what you need to do to have a healthy diet. So make sure you read through the DNA completely, and again, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to your health coach to ask them any questions that you have. Determine what your goals are, and we'll help you with that. So this is the first page that's really relevant, so you want to turn to page 5. Page 5 shows you the pie chart. So this shows you the perfect breakdown of macronutrients that's recommended for your body type in order to manage your weight appropriately. So this will vary per individual. So this person's DNA report says 45% of their calories from carbohydrates, 20% from fat, 35% from protein. So this person does a little bit better with a high protein, low fat diet. How do I know that? If you look at the right hand side, it has a box with the USDA recommended percentages. And if you compare your numbers to the numbers that are in that chart, you can see whether it's on the higher end of that range or the lower end of that range. So this is just a general overview for you. This weight management status, when it's talking about your BMI, when it's talking about your ideal weight, that is based on the time of your swab, so what your weight was at that current time. Your BMI might be a little bit different now if you've taken the swab a few weeks ago and you've lost some more weight after that point. Page 13 and 14 are also important, so this is showing you what your recommended foods and serving sizes are. Very important that you look at this because some of the servings may differ from what you are using on the program. The fruits and vegetables are on that first page, and then all the other servings are on the 14th page. In the starch group, you have the breads, the rice, the pastas, starchy vegetables like squash, corn, sweet potato, things like that. The milk group consists of the yogurt and milk. The meat and meat substitutes has the tofu, peanut butter, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, cottage cheese, and beans. And then any of the oils are in the oil category, so salad dressings, nuts, mayonnaise, things like that. Important to note here that 1 ounce of meat is 1 serving. So if you have 3 ounces of meat, you've had 3 servings of that group. So this is not your allotment for the whole day. This is just when you're having, some melon, 1 cup is 1 serving. So just every time you eat it, this is what's considered 1 serving. So you do have a couple options here. So if your next goal is to continue to lose a little bit more weight, you're going to go to the losing weight page. That's about page 16. The chart below is showing you how many calories you need to hit in order to lose the weight. So this person needs 1497, about 1,500 calories. And then the numbers below are showing you how many servings of each food group they can eat a day in order to lose that weight. So that is telling you, based on that pie chart that we saw before, what does the breakdown of those calories look like per food group. So it's a more exact way of losing weight, so you want to make sure, at least for the first month or two, you're really measuring out your foods to make sure that you know what your allotment looks like throughout the day. So this person has 5 servings of starches they can eat, 5 servings of vegetables, 3 servings of fruit, 13 ounces of the meat and meat substitutes, 2 servings of milk, and 0 servings of oils. So the 0 oils is pretty rare. Most people get 1 or 2 when trying to lose weight. But looking at this, you know, this person really is on a super low-fat diet and does a little bit better with having the higher amount of protein. So this will vary depending on the person, but important to note that this pie chart and this chart that it's showing you right here is based on you being moderately active. So what does that mean? That means that you are exercising at least 3 to 5 times a week for at least 20-30 minutes at a time at a moderate level. So getting your heart rate up a little bit at least and making sure that you actually feel like you had a workout. You weren't just going for a really leisurely stroll. Then the activity levels on the right-hand side, that's if you're a little bit more active. So let's say you work out every day, and that will give you a little bit more food to fuel those workouts. If your goal is to maintain your weight, you're going to go to the Maintaining a Healthy Weight section. Congratulations on reaching your goal. You're going to select your frame size. Now, it's a good idea to really start with that medium frame size, and then if you have to go up on the food a little bit, or if you feel like it's too much, you have to go down on the food a little bit, you can go up to the large or down to the smaller frame size. This first option here is the sedentary chart. So this is good for anybody that you're going on vacation, you know that you're not going to do a lot of exercise, or you're going to be off your feet a little while if you're having surgery, anything like that. It gives you a good idea of how you're going to be maintaining your weight. But there is other pages that will show you that chart based on being moderately active or lightly active. So you will want to follow those based on your current activity level, even while you're trying to maintain. There is a page in there that also shows you what foods have what nutrients. So you want to make sure that you're getting a well-balanced diet. If you feel like you're not getting enough of something, you can refer to that chart. On page 23, it'll show you what your water intake goal is. If you have any kind of tea, that can count towards the water goal. If you're getting all the fruits and vegetables in, that's probably about a cup of water. So, you know, within a 2-cup range of that recommendation is where you want to be. On page 24, it talks about alcohol and you. So this will give you the serving sizes. So very important to pay attention to the serving sizes and how many calories are in those. If you're actively trying to lose weight, I don't recommend that you drink a lot of alcohol. It's going to definitely sabotage you a little bit. But if you do have an occasion where you have a drink or two, make sure that you're counting it towards that starch group. If it's more like a 100-calorie serving, you can count it as 1 serving. If it's more 200 calories of alcohol, count it as 2 starches. But definitely make sure that you do that in moderation, just like you would any kind of dessert, anything like that. The next section is about your fitness results. So it tells you your ideal exercise program. You're either a moderate or vigorous intensity activity person. If you're a little bit more on the moderate side, that means that you really have to do a variation of activity, but you can get away with a little bit lighter exercise every once in a while. So things like yoga, you'll still see results. If you're a vigorous intensity person, that means that you have to do a little bit more in order to burn fat. So you really have to get your heart rate up, you have to sweat more. It talks a lot about your MET values. So MET values are a measurement of the energy that you're expending during an activity that you're doing. So you're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to this. So if you're sitting in a chair, you're using 0 units of energy. If you go for a brisk walk, that's more of a 3. If you're on the elliptical really sweating, that's more of a 6. So moderate activity is more at that 3, vigorous intensity is more at that 6. Okay, so regardless, you do want to rotate the kinds of activities that you're doing. When you're calculating your goal for the week, you're going to use that formula at the bottom. So you take the value of the activity, multiply it by however long you did it, and add that up for the week. And you want that between 15 and 20. So if you went on the elliptical for an hour 3 times a week, that would be 6 times 1 is 6 METs for the day, times 3 is 18 for the week. And then on the next pages on 30 and 31, it does show you some examples of some activities good for your genotype and what that estimation of the MET would be for that. So you can always do this as how you feel. You can estimate that. So if you know that you feel like you still have a lot of energy for other activities afterwards, you want to make sure that you are appropriately allotting your exercise for that. So, if you're more at a 3, you need to do a little bit of a harder workout later on. Page 35 through 40, so these are talking about individual genes related to healthy behavior. So it talks a little bit about what kind of hunger hormone level that you have. It talks a little bit about what kinds of genes play a role in appetite. It'll talk a little bit about the sugar cravings that you have and your taste and food preferences. It's pretty self-explanatory if you read through the paragraph. Again, if you have any questions about those things, send your health coach an email. They'll be glad to explain that to you. Thank you for joining us today for this recording, and I hope that you guys have the best of luck on your program.